Well, the tarp is coming off the field at historic Harris Field in Lewiston, Idaho. After about an hour and 15-minute delay, we are ready for day 2 of the Avista NAIA World Series. 4 more games today, and we start with an elimination game between the 6th-seeded Cumberlands Patriots of Kentucky and the 10th-seeded Mid-America Nazarene Pioneers from the Kansas City area. Hi, I'm Dave Cotton alongside Bert Sahlberg. It is great to have you with us, Bert. Let's talk about Cumberlands out of the gate. Really a tough loss yesterday. They were leading Westmont in the 8th inning 3-2. They had their top closer in the game, and then it all unraveled.
It did. Cesar Avila came into the game, 9 saves, a first-team all-conference pick, and boy, it got ugly quickly. He gave up 5 runs in the inning. All 5 base runners that reached scored in that inning, including a monster home run. And next thing you know, they're in the loser's bracket.
It was just a mess. Had a balk, a wild pitch, just very uncharacteristic. His ERA ballooning from 1.19 into the 3s in just 1 inning. All right, meantime, for Mid-America Nazarene, they were here for the first time last year, and they're trying to avoid their second straight 2-and-out, and they're pinning their hopes on their ace today to try to keep this live for them.
Yeah, first-team all-conference pitcher coming into the game.
All right, back at Harris Field as you look at the Cumberlands Patriots, hoping to keep their first appearance in the Avista NAIA World Series alive with a victory today over Mid-America Nazarene, which has taken the field as the home team. Let's get you the batting order for Cumberlands, a team that is hitting .353 as a team. That's 6th in the nation. Rafi Almanzar, the shortstop, leading things off, followed by Charlie Muniz, the catcher. Suhel Arias, the DH, hitting 3rd. Max Harper hitting cleanup, followed by Evan St. Clair. Ben Snap, Josh Simon. Ryan Shavers hitting in the 8-hole, and Caden Petrie batting 9th and playing 3rd base. Setting the Mid-America defensive alignment, starting with the outfield around left to right. Sean Maple in left, Drew Woodley in center, Joey Calamayo in right. Around the infield, it's Javier Melendez at third, Bryson Sherwood, the veteran, at shortstop, Dio Cornette at second, Noah Castillo, who also doubles as a pitcher on this team, at first, Joshua Hinojos doing the catching, and the starting pitcher, as Bert mentioned in the open, is Zach Trevino, the ace senior righty out of Santa Maria, California, making his 17th start, 19 appearances overall, a couple of relief appearances as saves. That's actually 6 complete games, 9-2, so some pretty good numbers. And Bert, a lot on his shoulders today to try to keep the Pioneers alive in this World Series.
You know, I always like to be the one that gets the early lead to put the pressure on the other team. And I don't really think it probably matters in these kind of games, but because we've seen a lot of late inning comebacks so far, even in this tournament. But in a loser-out game, you've got to win so many games in a row. You've got to get some momentum of some type going, and I think the earlier the better. So I think it's really important for one of these two teams, whoever's going to go on, to get off to a good start.
Absolutely. He actually pitched the opening game here last year against Georgia Gwinnett, struggled in the first couple innings as Gwinnett jumped out to a 7-2 lead, a game that Georgia Gwinnett would hold on to win 7-6. So Trevino looking for a little better outing as we're about to get things started here on drying out here on Saturday morning. We had a rain delay of about an hour and 15 minutes, but we are underway with day 2. First pitch is in there for a strike. 9:47 Pacific, game time temp, 65 degrees and fairly still, but Bert, we're seeing just a little bit of activity in the flag.
Yeah, but not a bad rain delay. I mean,
no.
it was a good little rain this morning, but you know, the grounds crew, the field was covered, took the tarps off as you saw, and you know, field looks in pretty good shape.
Rafael Manzar, the senior from Banu, Dominican Republic, is ahead in the count. First team all Mid-South Conference shortstop and the team leader in runs scored, as you might imagine, as a leadoff hitter.
Well, this is a team that loves to hit the ball. I mean, you look at their stats and up and down the lineup. It's just some impressive numbers.
And right on cue, Almanzar, a ringing double, a stand-up double to left center field. Good start for Cumberlands.
Yeah, very good start. I mean, we were talking about it. He set a program record this year with 141 home runs. And you go, wow, that's pretty impressive. Well, the previous record was 102. Wow. So, I mean, that's almost 40 more home runs. I mean, you know, you don't change the dimensions of the ballpark. I mean, that's just, you came to hit, wow. You know, you got some sticks in this lineup. And we saw one home run yesterday, but really they struggled for the most part. And so they really need to get something going.
Talk about C and Regia on home runs per year per team. Unbelievable. Speaking of a big hitter, this is Charlie Muñiz, the catcher. Where do we start? Team leading 425 average. Another homer yesterday. Now has 24 on the season. That's the most in the nation. And that solo homer gave him the all-time single-season record for hits in a season with 94. So that's a hit he'll remember, Bert.
Yeah, that's impressive. You can hit more than 20 home runs in a season. That's impressive.
That was on the first pitch that he saw of this Avista NAIA World Series, so pretty cool. And he has now run his home run streak to 4 straight games. Left side, shortstop Sherwood, tough play, and he's able to get the one hopper to retire Muñiz. So what a throw there by Sherwood.
Wow, what a play. I mean, that's impressive in a couple of ways because he got, you know, like you said, a one hopper. Well, the dirt's a little wet, so it's going to take a little bit off that hop too, and he still made the play. That's just a great job by the shortstop there. That's a heck of a play. You know, thrown across his body and one hopped it there.
Boy, and if you know anything about tryouts for professional baseball teams, that's the first thing they have you do as a shortstop. Can you make that deep throw from the hole? And he sure did. Great play by Sherwood. Another one for Sherwood here up the middle. Sunday hop this time. And second straight batter retired by Sherwood. And the runner does advance to third in Almanzar. And that'll bring up Suhel Arias.
Well, we're just watching the Sherwood show right now, apparently. We want to see what kind of range he has to his left and now to his right. So, let's see.
I got a little nervous because the PA guy said it was Max Harper. So the lineups we were given a little out of order here, but so we'll go with Max Harper, the first baseman. And they had Suhel Arias hitting third in the official lineup that we were provided.
And yes, and
yep.
Harper is hitting cleanup today.
Yep. Senior out of Fredericksburg, 230-pound, 416 batting average with 23 homers. So he is right on the tail of Muniz in terms of home runs.
It's interesting how you build teams. You know, do you want pitching? Do you want to be balanced, or do you just want to have guys that are going to stand there and just smack it around the park? And you just readily admit we're going to outscore you. That's the way we're going to be successful.
Trevino's repertoire, kind of a fastball, sinker, sweeper. And what's a sweeper? It's a lot like a slider, and that slider off that sinker is awful tough. He'll come inside with that sinker and the fastball, and then that sweeper moving away from the hitter. Pretty tough 1-2 punch. And Harper is in a hole here. Here's the 1-2, and there is that kind of that sweeper slider, and Harper gets out of it after allowing an opening leadoff double by Almanzar. So we head to the bottom of the first, and Mid-American Nazarene taking its first at bat.
A degree is the most important thing you can get. You get a degree, doors open. It doesn't matter what you want in life. Getting that degree is the first step to that. There's a lot of time in a day. You can spend that time attacking your academics. If you're close, why wouldn't you finish that? Really what it comes down to is how bad do you want it? Attack the hard stuff as hard as you can with confidence. That's what the Warrior way is.
Alignment real quickly, left to right around the outfield. Josh Simon, Evan St. Clair, Ryan Shavers, the outfielders. Infielders Petrie, Almanzar, Snap, and Harper around the infield. Charlie Muniz throws out 66% of would-be base stealers. That is an amazing number. And your starter for this morning is Hunter Rigsby, the 6'4", 260-pound senior righty out of Mount Vernon, Kentucky, making his 13th start. 7-2, 3.48 ERA, and an exceptional strikeout to walk ratio, Bert.
Yeah, that's what really stands out to me. 92 strikeouts in those 64 innings and only 17 walks. That tells you he has great control, and so just see how he does early. Just to, sometimes you get those butterflies, and you just need to throw a couple pitches to get those out of your system and then take over.
Sean Maple takes the first pitch pass ball in for a strike. Maple, junior out of Adelaide, Australia, was 0 for 2 yesterday with a couple runs scored. Wondering how he scored a couple runs. Well, he was actually plunked twice by Taylor pitchers, so probably woke up with a couple of welts on the body today. But you got to have a few war wounds from the World Series, right?
Right, yeah, you got to have some, yeah, exactly. Some purple marks and, just the color of the rainbow is kind of sometimes you get.
Rigsby's last outing was in the opening round against Columbia, Missouri. Went 6 2/3. Gave up 3 earned runs on 6 hits and struck out 6. But Rigsby is, as you can see here, a big boy. Transferred from a big school, came over from the University of Kentucky last year. He's got Maple in a 1-2 hole. Fastball up high, and Maple able to foul it off. Maple had that huge 2-out game-tying single against LSU Shreveport in the 9th inning of that championship game of the opening round. Game that they came back to win 7-6. Kind of chopped down the left field line, drops foul. Now, if you weren't with us yesterday, we highlighted Mid-American Nazarene and their ability to knock off the Giants. Last year in the opening round, they knocked off the third-ranked team in the country in Oklahoma City. And then this year, went down to LSU Shreveport as the 4 seed and knocked off the top-seeded LSU Shreveport Pilots. Another 1-2. Just outside, says home plate umpire Corey Ray.
Well, we talked about it. Last year you learned how to get here, and then you learned what it takes. And so, going in and being the number 4 seed, they weren't overwhelmed by that.
Long run for the left fielder Josh Simon, but he hauls it in, and there's one away. Maple made Rigsby work for it. Nonetheless, 1 up, 1 down. Mid-American Nazarene came into the World Series with pretty modest team batting average, 287, averaging about 5.5 runs a game.
Sherwood had a great day yesterday, 2 for 5 with 3 RBI.
Junior from Elkhart, Indiana, takes the first pitch in for a strike. Good one, kind of catches the lower outside corner. That Mid-American Nazarene Taylor game yesterday, a terrific game. Taylor jumping out to an early 4-0 lead. MNU coming back to tie it 4-all. A couple runs then by Taylor. Nazarene made it 6-5. That's the way it ended. So, as we mentioned, they've had some close losses in their 3 games last year and this year here at the Avista NAIA World Series. Rigsby, the 0-2, just inside.
Well, they have good reason to have some success here, too. Their honorary coach is a local guy who owns airplanes at the airport. I think he's taking them on some flights tomorrow, and it's supposed to be a surprise. So I'm blowing the suprise here.
Well,
so
they're on the field.
If you're listening from Mid-America, don't tell them. But they're supposed to get on. They're supposed to be able to in some private planes tomorrow and get some flights. And I think they're flying to like a picnic even kind of thing. So it's something fun.
That is super cool. As Sherwood lifts one into foul territory, falls. Yeah, that's one of the cool things, one of the many great things about the Avista NAIA World Series is those honorary captains, those local sponsors that, they're plugged in. They take these teams on some pretty cool excursions, especially on the days off. Right?
Yeah, tomorrow is a day off, and I know some of them all get together. They sponsor like 3 or 4 teams and have them all get together for a huge picnic and barbecue and things like that. And it's fun for the players to kind of get to know other players on other different teams as well. But yeah, there's been fishing excursions. There's been all sorts of things planned throughout time. The problem is that the loser of this game could be going home. It depends when they can get flights, but they could be going home this afternoon. So that's the bad thing.
Sherwood, meantime, is going to center field with a base hit. Nice piece of hitting. Several foul balls down the left field line to fight off those pitches, and finally getting one he wanted. Right back up the middle for a single. First hit of the game off Rigsby. As Javier Melendez, the third baseman, will take his first at bat of the game. That is cool, Bert. And hopefully the folks that are in, did you say it was Mid-American Nazarene?
Yes.
That's going to have that opportunity?
Yes.
Yeah, the folks that are in Olathe, Kansas, outside Kansas City, keep that a secret.
Yes, please
You're watching back home.
Yeah. I don't want to be the one that blows it. Maybe they know by now. Who knows? But yes. But it's the same group that does the flyovers and, that did the flyover last night before opening ceremonies. They have some older planes and so just some fun.
Melendez Jr. from Salinas, Puerto Rico, hitting .355 coming into the World Series. He's ahead of Rigsby, 2-0 in the count. Yeah, that's going to be, talk about opportunities for pictures and lifetime memories. And I think the weather is supposed to continue to get better as we get into the latter part of the weekend.
Well, I was going to sneak into the locker room and steal 2 jerseys so we could go tomorrow, too. Get on the planes and kind of, I think we'd get spotted pretty early, but, we could give it a try.
Something tells me we might stand out, Bert.
Yeah, we probably would.
One too many, a few too many gray hairs.
Yeah, I was going to say all gray hair for me, so, yeah, you still got some color.
Maybe we can pass ourselves off as friends of the honorary captain.
Yeah, as some of the honorary coaches,
Aviation experts.
Yes.
Here's a 2-1. High fastball, and Melendez swings right through that. Melendez came into the Avista NAIA World Series on an 11-game hitting streak and extended that yesterday, went 1 for 4. His first year in the program, following the tradition of Josh Sandoval, one of their stars last year here at the World Series, and Nathan Torres, who's now a member of the Pioneers coaching staff. In fact, Bert, it's pretty cool. Torres, from Puerto Rico, along with Sandoval, Torres has really become kind of that special recruiter for Puerto Rico, and they've got a pipeline going now. And it's a way for the folks that are visiting from Puerto Rico to feel comfortable when they come to Kansas City. Obviously a stark difference from their homeland. Here's the 3-2.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, that's a huge thing if you can, make people feel comfortable. You've got a home here, and you build a recruiting pipeline that makes them feel comfortable to come there, that they're going to get a great education, they're going to get treated well, and they're going to get opportunity to play baseball. And that's a good thing. I like that.
3-2. Boy, a lot of foul balls here in the first inning off Rigsby. He got the best of Maple, but then Sherwood got the best of him, and we'll see what happens with Melendez here in the bottom of the first for Mid-American Nazarene.
Well, Mid-American did have 9 hits yesterday, so they did push the ball around a little bit.
Another foul ball. If you're wondering, Sherwood has not been caught stealing this year. He's a perfect 13 for 13 in stolen base attempts. Here you see in the background some of the Diamond crew. Those are the guys that handled getting the field ready to go, and they had a lot of work this morning to get this thing going.
But with Muniz behind the plate, you kind of wonder, 66% throwing out.
Yeah.
Do we really want to test his arm?
Yeah, this is the best way to get your guy to second is a walk. As Melendez works hard for the walk. And now a couple runners on with just 1 out.
Just those little things, the field's in great shape, but just a little bit on the wet side, so it may, just slow you down a little bit. And with a great catcher behind the plate, do you really want to test him early?
So here's Noah Castillo, the big hitting cleanup sophomore from Whittier, California. Came into the World Series with a .357 batting average. Went 1 for 4 with an RBI single yesterday in that loss to Taylor. Already 25 pitches in this first inning for Hunter Rigsby. Fastball just inside. And that, obviously, when you've got kind of a 1A ace, not a great development for Cumberlands.
In a lot of ways. I mean, not only for this game, but looking down the road, that you have to win. So you're in the losers bracket now, so you have to win at least 5 and possibly 6 straight games, depending on how the schedule plays out. You don't have a lot of room for error, and you need to keep that pitching staff. And I know you got to take it one game at a time, but sometimes you have to look at big picture as well as, if your ace doesn't have it, maybe somebody else down the line does.
Yeah, you know, there's number 3 starters, there's long bullpen, even a closer. Too early to start talking about that, but his pitch count is getting up there as Castillo swings through that. The count goes even at 2-2. Castillo, we mentioned during the defensive lineup rundown, we talked about how he also doubles as a pitcher. Actually started on the mound against Dillard in the opening round and got his only win of the season. Big moment here for the Pioneers. Can they capitalize? A couple men aboard with just one out here in the bottom of the first.
And I think that was a pitch clock violation.
Yep.
Third base umpire is the one that keeps the clock, and so that's a ball there, so full count now.
And there's not a clock that anybody can see on the field, but as you can see there, the umpire has a clock himself, and I'm sure it has to go quite a ways over just to make sure, but he does get Castillo here. So a big strikeout for Rigsby, and has a chance to get out of it now here with 2 out. So it'll be up to the senior second baseman, Dio Cornett. Try to get the Pioneers on the board here.
I do like the pitch clock, though. I the way it's speeded up the game, it's just I just think it's changed the game definitely, but I do like it. I'm a fan of it.
I agree. You know, obviously baseball becoming more analytical, and people are worried about launch angle and this and that, and playing for the home run. And baseball has an action problem, and that really helps when games are, instead of 3.5 hours, they're 2 hours 45 minutes. There's a good curveball from Rigsby drops in there.
And I get the argument. The argument against it is 8th inning, 9th inning, tight ball games. You'd like to have a little time on the mound to kind of just focus in on things and take a walk around if it's not going well. Nope, you get the ball back and you got to throw right away.
Well, one thing I would mention, too, is if you watch the college softball World Series, or even the regionals that are going on right now, that is a very telegenic sport. And part of the reason is there's probably 8 seconds between pitches.
Yeah. Get the ball and throw.
They really move. And not to say that would happen in baseball, but certainly a very watchable sport. And it's been, in my opinion, like yours, Bert, a good development.
Yeah, and and you see the little things that they do. They'll ask for a new baseball if they need there's the little things that they can do to get that little break. But it's not like you can sit there and ask for a new baseball after every pitch. There's little nuances that you can get away with here and there. But we're gonna this one they're not. This is a full mound visit here.
So pitching coach Willie Poe will come out and chat with Rigsby. Gives us a chance to kind of set the table for today. Coming up in the second game of the day, another elimination game. It'll be Bellevue of Nebraska, the 5th seed, taking on Indiana Wesleyan, which is making its first Avista NAI World Series appearance. That'll be about 45 minutes to an hour after this game. And then we'll head into the winner's bracket with a game between World Series, not first-timer, but their first game since 1969. First appearance, we should say, Taylor taking on a powerful and second-seeded Georgia Gwinnett Grizzly squad. And then in the nightcap, what a matchup. You've got the number 1 seeded and defending champion Southeastern Fire taking on the host Lewis Clark State Warriors, who won last night 12-4, kind of pulled away late, including a home run from a red-hot Charlie Updegrave.
Yeah, rematch of last year's title game.
We pick things back up here with Hunter Rigsby. He has Dio Cornett, the second baseman, in an 0-2 hole. Left side, and that is a fair ball. Here comes Sherwood with the first run of the game. Melendez will hold at second, and it's an RBI single for Cornett.
Third baseman Ryan Shavers doesn't quite agree with the call as being fair, but I think it hopped right over the base and then down the foul line.
Yeah, it actually bounced past the base fair. Sometimes when it goes over the base and then the first bounce is foul. That's when it gets a little harder, but that one actually bounced just inside or on the chalk. So Cornette is aboard with an RBI single. Going to bring up Joshua Martinez. As you see here, going to get a little argument from Brad Shelton. He is not happy.
Yeah, he is not happy. His third baseman wasn't happy either about it, so I think he's got the third baseman's back there on that play. And, unfortunately, when things aren't going well, frustration does tend to build up. And maybe you just need something like that to spark your team.
Shelton in his 22nd season, win percentage of nearly 70% as Joshua Martinez, the DH, will come up with the exact same scenario as the last batter. 2 on, 2 out. Runners at first and second.
Martinez homered yesterday.
Yeah, 2 for 4 with a solo shot. Pioneers would love that again right here. Here's the 0-1. Fastball up high. Martinez, a sophomore from Glendale, Arizona. A modest 237 hitter coming into the World Series, but yeah, gets that home run. RBI number 18 of the season. Brad Shelton telling us that Rigsby has been a workhorse for us all season, and he has had to work. He's already thrown 35 pitches in the first inning.
Wow, that is a lot. Normally, a starting pitcher, you want to get you can get 110 pitches out of him. That's a great performance.
Well, through all that, a couple strikeouts, just 1 run on 2 hits, couple left on base, and Rigsby gets out of it. We'll head to the top of the second. It's 1-0 Mid-America Nazarene.
I have a little birthday message for you from someone too.
I heard you really love basketball. You're a good shooter and a good dribbler. Happy birthday.
Welcome back. Heading to the top of the second here at the Avista NAI World Series. Let's get you familiarized with the Cumberlands Patriots of Williamsburg, Kentucky. Population 5,300, enrollment 19,000. It was actually founded in 1888, originally known as Williamsburg Institute. Play in the Mid-South Conference, had a great year. In fact, they're now 1 win away from 50 victories, but they went 22-5 in that Mid-South Conference. As we mentioned, they're making their first World Series appearance. Lost yesterday in that tough loss, leading Westmont 3-2 in the 8th. And their closer, Cesar Avila, couldn't hold it. Gave up 5 runs, and here they are, trying to stave off elimination here in the first game on Saturday as we pick things back up with the Cumberlands lineup, the number 5, 6, and 7 hitters, starting with Evan St. Clair, the center fielder. St. Clair, the junior from Whitehall, New York. Like many of these Patriots, impressive batting average, .371. First team all Mid-South Conference first baseman.
I talked about it a little bit with Mid-America, just this team as well. Making your first appearance, and this is, like you mentioned, Coach Shelton's 22nd year as head coach, and you finally make it here. How much of a learning experience does everything come as the ball gets away from the left fielder to the wall?
A mistake there by Sean Maple, and that allows Evan St. Clair to extend the single, get him out to second base. So it'll be a single and an error on Sean Maple. And a good start for the Patriots here. They got a runner aboard at second with nobody out.
Yeah, but just finishing that thought, you make it here, and you kind of, all right, is it just gravy? Or, obviously you want to win, but you've never made it here before. So you've got to take a step back and just take this all in and absorb what it's like and enjoy it. You don't want to be satisfied with it, obviously, but sometimes, your first time, you have to learn a lot of things. So when you make it back the second time, all right, this is what the expectations are. We know what's going to happen here. We know how this works. We know what hotel we're staying at. We know what Lewiston's like. We know where we're going to go eat. And all these things that sound funny, but when you kind of get a routine and you know these things, it certainly helps you be more comfortable with the surrounding and much more comfortable as a team.
Ben Snap in an 0-2 hole. Saw there the graphic a moment ago was 3 for 4 with an RBI in yesterday's loss. The 0-2, there's that sweeper, and gets Snap swinging, and there's one away. Couldn't agree more, Bert, that familiarity factor, but I know that obviously it balanced that desire to really soak up the moment, but also make something of the opportunity. You're not guaranteed a trip back, and Shelton, that win to clinch the Patriots' first trip here was actually his 1,000th career win, so he has been around for a long time. Good off-speed pitch in there from Trevino. Strikeout in each of the first 2 innings thus far.
But it just gives you that little extra edge when you go to recruit. Yeah, we've been there. We were there last year, and you want to play for titles, come here.
Simon started his college career at Missouri Valley College, where he was first team All Heart of America Conference, which, by the way, is the conference of which Mid-American Nazarene is a member. He's familiar with facing the Pioneers. Now the 1-1 from Trevino, right side at Castillo. He'll take it himself unassisted, and there are 2 away as St. Clair advances to third. Ryan Shavers, the right fielder now, will step in. That is best game of the postseason in the opening round against Columbia of Missouri. It was 3 for 5 with a home run and 3 RBIs in that game. It was held hitless yesterday against Westmont.
Looks like we're going to have to change our scoring on St. Cloud as well, because it looks like they gave him, St. Clair, looks like they're giving him a double.
Wow. Yeah. I was just going on your reaction, Bert.
Well,
I
thought
shocked you were that the left fielder didn't make the play.
I think he just kind of ho-hummed it and it got by him. So I was surprised by that, but yeah.
Is that the left fielder version of catcher indifference?
Yes, I guess, yeah. Exactly, I like that.
That's my favorite term in baseball. It's like the catcher is just there picking
just,
lilies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go.
Yeah, you can go. I'm not throwing.
The 1-1 to Shavers. Good off-speed pitch. Boy, that's quite the repertoire, though. You got a fastball, and you're going to face a sinker, and then that sweeper slider. And Trevino is very confident in that. He'll throw it with any count, and it's 1-2 now.
Yeah, if you're Cumberlands, you got the leadoff hitter on both innings to second base. And right now, a strikeout there. You're 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position.
Third strikeout for Trevino, and that'll retire the Patriots. Heading to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Pioneers.
Banner Bank, CCI Spear, Early Bird Supply, Eye Care Specialists, Fisher Systems, Hillcrest.
Back to take a look at the Mid-American Nazarene Pioneers, located in Olathe, Kansas, just outside of Kansas City. Pretty modest enrollment of 1,500, a Christian school in the Heart of America Athletic Conference. Very modest record, both overall and in the Heart Conference, but they made it back after doing some great work in the opening round, just like they did last year. If you're just joining us, they knocked off Oklahoma City, highly ranked Stars in the opening round last year. And then this year went down to LSU Shreveport, knocked off the Pilots that were ranked number 2 in the country. But they're looking for that first win, 0-3, trying to avoid that 2-and-out scenario for the second straight year. And they have the 7, 8, and 9 hitters coming up to face Hunter Rigsby, who had 39 pitches in the first inning alone. Good start to this inning. Fastball in there for a strike. As Joey Calamayo, a senior from Shawnee, Kansas, takes that fastball up high. He was 1 for 4 with a run scored yesterday. Had a pinch hit home run against Bellevue in last year's World Series.
You hear 39 pitches, and you think, oh boy, he's really struggling with his control. That's going a lot of 3-2 counts or something like that, because 39 pitches in one inning is a lot. No, it's a lot of foul balls. I mean, he's been throwing strikes. It's just been the hitters that have done a nice job as going down on strikes there.
Gets Calamayo on the high fastball. Now Rigsby has now matched Trevino with his third strikeout. That'll bring up the center fielder, Drew Woodley, who hails from the home of Mid-American Nazarene, Olathe, Kansas. By the way, I want to give a shout-out to my brother lives in Olathe, and whenever I go back to see him, he takes me to Tequila Harry's. It's a great Mexican restaurant, and Mid-American Nazarene right down the street. So a shout-out to all the folks watching in Olathe along the way on the NAIA Network online. Another hour or so, Bert, here. We're going to wish that we had some Tequila Harry's tacos.
I was just kind of going like, I bet that sounds like it's a pretty good place to go eat. Yeah.
A little breakfast burrito.
Yeah, there you go.
To go with breakfast baseball here at Harris Field. If you're just joining us, started about an hour and 15 minutes late due to some showers earlier this morning. Did he go around?
They say yes.
First base umpire Steve Sillers says yes. So now Woodley on his heels against the big Rigsby, 6'4", 230, off-speed pitch up high. That's the one thing about a pitch count. I guess you never know. You could have a small, thin guy throw a lot of pitches and be fine, and have a big guy somehow not be fine with a high pitch count. You just never know. But you'd think that a big guy, a 6'4", 260-pound righty, might be able to handle a higher pitch total.
You would think, yes. But it's kind of how has he done during the season with high pitch counts? The good thing is the weather, it's not hot. It's not, it's
right.
It's a little muggy, but it's not bad. I mean, it's nothing like the humidity or anything else you get in the south, and so it's comfortable for him.
Yeah, two teams that play in pretty humid states. Kentucky and then Kansas City is sneaky humid. You get past April.
It's kind of why we live in the West.
Oh, these guys have to be loving it,
yeah.
Being out here in the lower humidity. There were a couple days this past week when they were here. They'd already gotten here and really enjoyed some beautiful temperatures and low humidity, sunny skies. And I think that one got us on the roof there.
Yeah, yeah.
Good thing we didn't have the convertible top open.
I hope the cameraman had it mid up there. Yeah.
Yeah, big shout out to our crew getting set up this morning, even though we had showers. Sharply at the third baseman, Petrie, and he's up with it. And Woodley is retired, 2 up, 2 down for Rigsby here in the second. Much better start for the big righty. That'll bring up Josh Hinojos, sophomore from Redlands, California. Trying to get something going here with 2 out, nobody on here in the bottom of the second for Mid-American Nazarene. Hinojos was 1 for 2 with a run scored yesterday against Taylor. So just 5 hits in 43 at-bats this season. You ask why is he start? Well, he's a terrific defensive catcher. Bryson Hamilton also does some catching for the Pioneers, more of an offensive catcher, but you know, when you come to the World Series, you probably want to make sure that that catcher position is locked down. Squares the bunt, pulls it back, rule the ball.
Well, the nice thing is, you know, you want to have a couple catchers just because they get beat up so much during the season. You play a lot of doubleheaders as well. That you know, it certainly does help, and sometimes you do have some pitchers that get comfortable with certain catchers as well.
Did he go around? First base up, Steve Sillers says no. I heard the point made watching a Spokane Indians broadcast here. I think it was last weekend that catchers aren't as big as they used to be. Part of the reason is that, you know, that rule where you cannot just barrel over a catcher at home plate like you used to be able to. You see a lot, not by rule, but a lot smaller catchers these days.
You want them to be offensive threats as well as defensive threats, and most of the time, the old days, they used to be just hit home runs kind of thing.
Yeah.
But now you get the catchers that are, you know, I've seen leadoff hitters that are catchers, and you kind of go, that's something new. You know, guys with speed that catch. Yeah.
The 3-2, and he lost him. Good at bat there by Hinojos to work the count and work the bases on balls. Second one surrendered by Rigsby, and a 2-out runner aboard as we'll get a courtesy runner here for the catcher. So it'll be Ronnie Nowak coming in to do the running for Hinojos. Nowak, the junior from Munster, Indiana. He's 2 for 5 on stolen bases, but again, he's got to deal with Charlie Muniz, who has thrown out, as we mentioned earlier, 2/3 of would-be base stealers. That is an unbelievable stat.
Yeah, you have something like that behind the plate. That's scary. I mean,
Sean,
I would just think he's probably looking forward. Hey, let's let at least one runner get on for me. Come on.
Yeah, I want to show off, air it out a little bit.
Yeah. Go ahead. See, go ahead. Give it a try. Yeah.
Sean Maple taking that one upstairs. The count goes even at 1-1. Yeah, Nowak 2 for 5 in stolen base attempts. Off speed, drilled left field. Will that get out of here? Yes. A 2-run homer by Sean Maple, and it's 3-0 Pioneers.
Wow, he got around on that.
Got hit a couple times yesterday, as we mentioned. Today, a 2-run homer. And he's loving it, and the Pioneer fans who are here from Olathe, Kansas are loving it as Mid-American Nazarene extends its lead to 3-0.
Yeah, he just a curveball that kind of hung a little bit, and boy, he hammered it. And he knew it as soon as he hit it. He's watching it the whole way.
And so for Rigsby, just the second home run he has surrendered all year as Bryson Sherwood will step in for his first at bat. Or excuse me, his second at bat, singled and scored in the first inning.
Well, great job on the replay. You could see that breaking ball just hang right in the zone.
That one is well hit right center field. Giving chase is St. Clair. And the right fielder, it'll be Ryan Shavers hauling it in. Gave it a ride, did Sherwood. But it stays in the park. But Sean Maple's shot to left did not. A 2-run blast for the Pioneers to put them on top 3-0 here as we head to the top of the third. All right, time to get into the top of the third here at the Vista NAIA World Series, and it gives us a chance to introduce to you our umpires for today. We mentioned Corey Ray is behind the plate out at first. Steve Sillers, who's already had a couple of calls come his way from the home plate umpire. Stip Poe out at second, and Jason Tice is at third base.
Got a chance to get to know these guys a little bit. You know, everybody has some kind of sponsor. Well, the umpires have a sponsor,
Wow.
and it's the local chamber. And I help serve on the chamber board, so I got tasked with the chamber bought all the snacks and stuff, but I go down there each night, late at night, and kind of restock things and stuff like that for them. And it's funny. You get requests. They like the pretzels filled with peanut butter, and the other big hit is, you know, a lot of those power bars, energy bars, things that, because, you know, you're out there for 3-4 hours in the sun, things like that kind of just re-energize you. So, but it's kind of fun to get to know these guys a little bit.
Did you resist the temptation to eat up some of the profits, Bert?
Yeah, exactly. Take all their food and just leave them, you know, orange peels or something like that. Yeah.
Caden Petrie, a freshman from Williamsburg, Kentucky. His first at bat of the game. He's 0 for 4 yesterday, so he's looking for his first base knock of the World Series. So the umpires don't get to go flying with their honorary captain.
No,
huh?
they usually go golfing.
Oh, that's cool.
They usually get to play some rounds of golf.
That
there,
works.
So, yeah.
How are the golf courses here, Bert?
They're good. You know, it's a long story about Lewiston having a water reservoir break in January, and they lost 3 million gallons of water. So there is some water restrictions going on in some areas, and one of the golf courses is having that right now. And so, but it's still in good shape. So 2 public, 2 private courses in the Lewiston-Clarkston area, all 18 holes. So you got your choice of all sorts of different ones.
Yeah, Bryden Canyon, right?
Yes, Bryden Canyon up by the airport. That's the one that's city-owned. And then there's Quail Ridge over in Clarkston, and then both of them have country clubs. And Lewiston Country Club is very hilly, so you can hit it down the middle of the fairway and have an uneven lie with your feet. And then Clarkston, it has a golf course as well, and it's a beautiful golf course. It's just long and tree-lined. So anytime they need their trees trimmed, I usually get a tee time and knock down some limbs for them. So I try to help them out the best I can. But Red Wolf Golf Club over in Clarkston, it's a beautiful course, too.
Probably a lot of folks will be making tee times, or already have, for the day off tomorrow.
Yes.
The traditional day off, as Rafi Almanzar draws a one-out walk. And the runner aboard here, the top of the order for Cumberlands in Almanzar on base. Yeah, potential steal opportunity, although Almanzar just 3 of 4 this year, even as the leadoff hitter, in stolen base attempts. Nonetheless, it'll be Charlie Muniz, the catcher, the big hitting catcher, who lined out, or actually was retired on that great play by shortstop Bryson Sherwood in the first inning.
get off track here for a little bit, but during March, during golf season, a lot of buses from Missoula and Spokane come down, to take advantage of the golf, get golf in because courses up there aren't open. Kind of summertime, a lot of my friends are just the opposite. Hey, let's go up and play some courses in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene that we haven't got to play, and so it works out well, I think, for both.
That ball's well hit left field, and it is off the base of the wall. Muniz is going to leg out to second, and he's in with a stand-up double as Almanzar goes to third. And quickly, runners at second and third here with one out in the third inning for Cumberlands.
Well, maybe the second time through the lineup makes a little difference. This ball's absolutely crushed down the left field line, and nice stand-up double. And again, runners in scoring position. They've had runners in scoring position in every inning thus far. They just haven't been able to do anything with it.
And they have the meat of the order up as the number 3 hitter, Suhel Arias, the DH, has a great opportunity to cut into this 3-0 lead. Arias, a senior from San Cristobal, Dominican Republic. Team leading 60 RBIs this year, so a great guy to have up. Actually make that. Yeah, he still has 60. He went 0 for 3 yesterday, so that total is holding as he takes that good pitch in there. A lot of movement low in the strike zone.
Interesting that he's got, you wonder if they're like prescription sunglasses or what, but he's got sunglasses he's wearing right now. It's not exactly bright out there.
No. Right at the second baseman, Dio Cornett, but a run will score, so an RBI fielder's choice for Arias. And with that, Muniz moves over to third base. And it's actually Kevin Perez running for Muniz as those courtesy runners for the catchers here in the Avista NAIA World Series. Now Max Harper, the first baseman, struck out his first at bat. Cut into this 3-1 lead. Mid-American Nazarene. 6 teams that were here last year, along with Southeastern, the defending champs, Georgia Gwinnett, the number 2 seed. Bellevue is back. LC State is back. It's a little dicey, but they actually made it into the opening round. They hosted it and rolled in the opening round, went 3-0. Mid-American Nazarene is back, as well as Westmont. Those are your repeaters. The 1-2 fisted foul.
I don't think I've seen a season as strange as the one LC had this year. Just the way they started out on a trip to Florida looked pretty good, and as the season progressed, there's no other way to describe it. They seem to get worse. And so going into the first round, you just kind of wondered what kind of team you'd have, and they won it.
Big strikeout there for Trevino as he gets Harper. He strikes out for the second straight at bat to start his Game 2 of the Avista NAIA World Series. We go to the bottom of the third. It's the Pioneers on top 3-1. Well, it's the 66th Avista NAIA World Series, and almost half of them have been hosted by Lewis Clark State College. 31 times, well over 1 million fans coming through the gates over those 3+ decades. The record for attendance in one year was 2008 with 45,475 spectators. So we'll hope for a big turnout this year. Certainly the weather looks to be fairly cooperative. We get by today, things are looking really good. As Hunter Rigsby, the Cumberlands pitcher, the 6'4" senior from Mount Vernon, Kentucky, will go back to work. It'll be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Pioneers of Mid-American Nazarene, starting with Javier Melendez, the third baseman.
Yeah, I like this ballpark. We were joking in the press box last night is that they need to hire the press box anytime a company buys a sign, just because some of the signs are hard to read from far away. People try to put too much information on their signs, and print gets smaller and smaller, and we get older and older.
That's right. They got to think about us 50s and 60s somethings, right?
Yeah, exactly. That print's pretty small out there. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. So, no, it's a pretty ballpark.
That was Javier Melendez, the third baseman, as we mentioned, grounding out to short and bring up Noah Castillo, who struck out his first at bat. We were talking in the media room yesterday about how there are a couple sites around the country of teams that were high seeds that would have hosted, but they don't have the right dimensions. The parks are too small. Tennessee Wesleyan being one of them. They were actually a 1 seed but had to go to Central Methodist because their field doesn't qualify. It's not big enough. Interestingly, I was told that their power alley at Tennessee Wesleyan is actually farther out than it is here. But obviously it was a strikeout there for Castillo, but everything else about this ballpark, got to have it here.
Yeah. I mean, been to enough series elsewhere. You're either a big fish in a small pond like you are here, or you're a small fish in a big pond. And I don't mean to downgrade anything, but I went to the World Series in Des Moines. Beautiful ballpark. It was the Cubs AAA ballpark. Treated very well there. Loved the time there. They just, they were giving away tickets to the games, and still nobody would come. So it's one of those things, smaller communities can rally around, where bigger communities, we've already got major league team or something going on. So
well, that's the thing about it. As Dio Cornette, who singled RBI. That one ball is ripped left field. Josh Simon barely turns around. Long gone. A solo homer for Dio Cornette. And it's 4-1 Mid-America.
Dio Cornette liked it so much. He sat and he took about 2 steps and just admired it from home. Those are the kind of things that the next time you come up, you've got to be aware of. You admire it a little too much, you might get a little chin music. But, boy, that ball was crushed.
So after going the entire season, giving up just 1 home run, Hunter Rigsby all of a sudden has given up 2 in this game.
And he knew it.
Yeah. That one he felt like was fun to watch and admired it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. College is a little different than, NAI is a little different than major leagues, but the next time up, he might want to be just to be prepared.
Watch the back a little bit.
Yeah, you might have admired that one a little too much.
10th home run for Cornette, and here's Josh Martinez, the DH, who struck out first inning.
But to his defense, if I hit one that far, I'd admire it too. Yeah,
you got to admire your work.
Yeah.
Joshua Martinez goes down looking, 5th strikeout for Rigsby, but the Pioneers add another run on the solo ride by Dio Cornette.
Don't forget to check out our outdoor vendors and main concessions for all of your food needs. Happy Day Eats and Southway Slices. Taste of Hell's Canyon. Little Man's Donuts.
bleachers down the first baseline. There's been some known Dutch oven, I don't want to say cook-offs, but they don't starve down there. How about that?
They got a good thing going,
Yes.
and a couple coolers.
They enjoy themselves down there. They work for it. There's no doubt about it, but they enjoy themselves as well.
I don't mean to imply they've got adult beverages, but they are well fortified down there.
Yes, they are.
Evan St. Clair, did he go around? Yes, and he is quickly in an 0-2 hole. St. Clair with that double that got by the left fielder Sean Maple in the second inning. Two for four with a double yesterday against Westmont. We talked about his base stealing prowess, and he actually was caught stealing yesterday, just the second time all season he's been caught. And that one plunked him on the ankle. And depending on where it got him, good thing it wasn't 48 degrees, because that could smarts within 65 degrees.
Yeah, I thought it got him on the foot, but even so, he's not limping at all, so feeling pretty good.
So that'll bring up Ben Snap, the second baseman. Cumberland's trying to get something going here. They'll take anything to get a runner aboard and get some action. Cut into this 4-1 Mid-American Nazarene lead.
Yeah, third time in 4 innings, leadoff batter's on.
Routine fly to center. Woodley now has to come in. Longer run than maybe it originally looked like he'd have to make. Nonetheless, first out of the inning. That'll bring up Josh Simon. Trevino started against LSU Shreveport in the first game of that opening round Shreveport bracket. Got the W, scattering six hits over 7 innings. Simon swings through that first pitch fastball. He did pitch again in the opening round against LSU Shreveport just 3 days later, and as you might have surmised, it wasn't as effective. But MNU rallied to score 2 in the top of the ninth to win 7-6 and make it back to Lewiston. Chopper to Cornett, looks at second. Maybe it takes too long, and he does. So was thinking about maybe getting the lead runner. Ended up being betwixt and between. Ends up getting no runner.
I think he was thinking double play the whole time as that ball was coming to him. I think he thought about just reaching out and trying to tag the runner. Ball got to him too late, so then he glanced at second. You can see he's charging this, and he's planning himself to maybe make that tag, and then that little delay causes that safe. So
it goes as a hit, one of the more unique hits of the World Series thus far, as Ryan Shavers, the right fielder, misses on that off-speed pitch.
It's been interesting to watch Trevino, just from the standpoint, he's pitched more out of the stretch than he has just his normal windup, and he looks a lot more comfortable out of the stretch. He's pitching really well out of the stretch.
Well, for a lot of pitchers these days, it just... Billy Moon, our analyst yesterday, talking about the repeatability of it, where regardless of the situation, you're used to that particular delivery. The 0-2, and he got him. So Ryan Shavers striking out in both of his at-bats thus far in this game. And there are 2 out now in the 4th.
And again, Cumberlands has had his chances. They're now 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They do have that ground out that did score a run, but it does go down as an out.
In danger of stranding another 2. Caden Petrie, the third baseman, trying to get a run or 2 home here. Petrie, the freshman from the location of Cumberlands, right there in Williamsburg, Kentucky. And a big hello and welcome to all the viewers watching on the NAIA Network Online. pulling for their Patriots, making their first appearance here in the World Series. Petrie was the freshman of the year in the Mid-South Conference. Patriots trying to scratch out a run here in the fourth. The 1-1. Great stop there by Hinojos. Saved the run, or at least saved the runners from moving up into scoring position for both of them. We talked about it earlier in the game that Hinojos, the better defensive catcher, Bryson Hamilton, the better offensive catcher for Nazarene. Nine different states represented in this year's World Series. California, Florida, Georgia, of course Idaho. Indiana has 2 this year. Kansas, Kentucky, Mississippi, and Nebraska.
I think if you'd ask anyone what state would have, 2 representatives before going into the opening round, you'd probably say somebody from the South, one of the Florida teams, even Oklahoma, something like that. And no, it's Indiana.
Been a long time since Indiana's had multiple representatives. After going a long time with none. Great pitch, second strike out of the inning. And 6 of the ball game for Trevino. Gets out of it without surrendering a run, even though he gives up that single there and a hit by a pitch. Heading to the bottom of the fourth, the Pioneers still on top by 3 runs.
Sell online tickets directly from your school's website. Scan digital or printed tickets with the Hometown Gate app. And get immediate access to ticket revenue with real-time reporting. At no cost to your school. It's that easy to bring touchless ticketing to your hometown. Hometown. Fast scans, happy fans.
Our series medallion sponsor.
Welcome back to Lewiston. We talked about the states represented here in the Avista NAIA World Series. And we've got the state flags to represent each of those 9 states. And the way it works is they fly the flags of these states until the representatives of those states have gone home. And as you mentioned, Bert, Indiana has 2 representatives, so they'll get a couple opportunities.
Yeah, every year they do that. They put the flags above the left field bleachers and line them up, and 10 spots for them, and as one gets eliminated, they do get taken down.
So Hunter Rigsby will go back to work. And facing the 7, 8, and 9 hitters for Mid-American Nazarene, starting with Joey Calamayo, the right fielder. Those left field stands were pretty full yesterday on a beautiful day, at least in the morning. Calamayo lifts it to center field, and it'll be St. Clair hauling it in well in front of the track, 1 away. But yeah, there were a number of school kids out there on the traditional day off. Do they get the full day off, Bert, or the morning off?
I think it's probably up to each school on how much they want to, what classes they want to send and how much time they want to take off. Anymore, the sad thing is it's happening everywhere. Lack of bus drivers and availability of bus drivers, so it probably goes a little bit, depends on that, but they bring both kids from Asotin, Clarkston, Lewiston all in, and and we try to tell the teams when they get here, if you have one of those morning games, your left fielder can be a huge part of this thing, because if he plays to the crowd of those kids, take out a baseball or something and just throw it up in the stands to them, something like that, and get that crowd on your side. You heard it yesterday. I could hear the chant in the press box, and we're quite a ways away. They were cheering for Taylor at one point, and I heard the Taylor chants.
Because the Taylor left fielder.
Yeah, just he was playing up to the crowd, and just smartly so.
Well, Drew Woodley is retired on the 3-1 put out. And quickly 2 away here in the 4th. Yeah, that's cool. Those guys do that, and obviously these teams do not have unlimited budgets. Although the baseball is probably provided by NAI.
So, just something. Yeah, I mean, you just go out there and talk to the kids, or something to just get them on your side, so it feels like it's a home crowd behind you.
Number 9 hitter Josh Hinojos, the catcher. There you see he walked in the 2nd inning.
But they also had a kids clinic on Wednesday. The kids clinic's free, and they bring players from all the teams here and do little station-to-station little teaching things. One's hitting, one's fielding, throwing, just do little different things and work on the kids. And it is packed here, and the kids get a free hot dog and drink, and plus all the lessons are free. So, and I think I'm trying to remember, I think it's like ages 4 to 12, I think, or maybe it's even older than that. But you have all sorts of ages, and it's an exciting time for them.
You talk about just creating memories to last a lifetime, and growing the game too. Some of these grade schoolers say, I want to play at that level. Well hit by Hinojos, but it's right at the center fielder St. Clair, and a quick inning for Rigsby. In contrast to the first couple innings, he's now thrown 80 pitches, but not too many in that inning. 3 up, 3 down. Headed to the top of the 5th. It's still 4-1.
One community. We really consider ourselves, one community here.
Smaller version of the Twin Cities, and
sure,
just a great area. You've got tons of recreational opportunities here. That's what makes the day off, the traditional Sunday of Memorial Day weekend, day off at the Avista NAIA World Series, weather permitting, such a great day.
Yeah, but, the salmon run's on right now, so there's teams that been able to access boats. But in previous years, some honorary coaches got them boats and went out and took them salmon fishing. Just some different experiences that they can take part in, and beautiful scenery, and just hopefully continues beautiful weather.
Rafael Manzar, the shortstop, leading things off. As the top of the order gets things going for the Cumberlands Patriots. Rocking the blue jerseys with the pinstripes. A little bit like Georgia Gwinnett when they wear the green with the pinstripes. Georgia Gwinnett is here as the number 2 seed. Won it all in 2021. A lot of folks feel like Gwinnett and Southeastern may be on a collision course, with apologies to our friends at LCSC. Fly ball left field, hauled in by Sean Maple, one away.
Yeah, I think when you look at the tournament bracket, I don't think that there's any doubt those are the two teams to beat. And you look at the records and just the way their lineups look; those are two tough teams. So I'm anxious to see what they look like today in their two ball games as they get going. It's just a weird way the 10-team tournament works. You get two teams sent home before the top two seeds even play a game.
That is an oddity.
It's just an oddity.
Yep.
It's the way it works every year. There's two loser-out games before the two teams that get a first-round bye even play a game.
It's Charlie Muñiz, the catcher, who's 1 for 2 with a double. Faces the 0-1 off-speed. Good pitch there. That sweeping pitch there from Zach Trevino, the senior from Santa Maria, California. Yep. 2 of the winners yesterday advanced to Monday. That's the way the bracket is set up. Those two teams, Westmont, which beat Cumberlands in the opening round, and William Carey, which took out Bellevue. We talked yesterday, Bert, about how 1 or 2 regions have 5 teams. Most regions have 4. And, maybe down the road they might go to 8 regions of 5 teams, still have 40 teams in, but then have 8 teams make it to Lewiston as Muñiz goes down swinging.
Well, the interesting thing is this is the first year that LC, of course, has had to play into the tournament. There's always been 9 opening round tournaments, and then LC was the host to have the 10 teams. And so 5 teams went to each one of those opening rounds, so 45 teams. Well, they wanted to keep it at 45 teams, so they had 5 brackets that had 5 teams, 5 brackets that had 4 teams in the opening round. And we got a little quizzitive yesterday about how did they decide, who has 5, who has 4. They took the top seeds and put them in the 5-team bracket because they felt that would give them, they get a first-round bye, gives them more of an advantage in that type of bracket situation, whereas the 14 brackets a little tougher to make it through, and it doesn't sound right when you say there's 5 teams and it's easier to get through than a 14 bracket, but that's
you get the bye, then
yes,
it becomes
it becomes easier, yeah. And so that's the way it was set up, and that's the way it was set up this year. Moving forward, there's a lot of options out there. Do you want to expand it to 50 teams and everybody has to play 5? Every opening round is a 5-1. Do you cut it to 40 teams and every opening round is a 4-team, and then eventually, there's also talk, do you want to have an 8-team tournament instead of a 10-team tournament? So a lot of options that the coaches and the NAI have in moving the tournament forward and what they want to do.
And if you have an 8-team World Series, obviously the brackets become a little more standard.
Yeah, and there's different ways to do an 8-team bracket too. You can do a true double elimination tournament, or you can do what the NCAA baseball tournament does and has 2 4-team brackets, and then takes the 2 winners of those 4-team brackets and does a best-of-3 series. So there's, again, lots of ideas that are being thrown out, and lots of ways to look at it, and there's nothing wrong with keeping it the way it is either.
Yep, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, perhaps. A 1-2-3 inning meantime for Trevino. And the Cumberlands Patriots are retired, heading to the bottom of the 5th. Still 4-1.
Thank you to the Idaho Lottery for your sponsorship.
Welcome to the Avista NAI World Series.
All of us in the Joe Hall Ford family are grateful to have been a major sponsor since it came home to Lewiston 24 years ago.
And we've appreciated serving you since 1998.
If you were looking for a new ride, check out the amazing selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and trucks at joehallford.com.
And the brand new Fords and Lincolns arriving every week.
So please join all of us at Joe Hall Ford for some of the best baseball in the nation.
how everything progresses, but maybe around an 8:30 start.
Yeah,
there's a lot. Lot has to go right. But
I just laugh because basically doing this all these years, time is just a figure. I think
it's a goal.
You get the opening. The opening time is the exact time, and that's the only game that'll ever start on time usually. And
we didn't even get that today.
Yeah, until today even. Yeah, and so usually you kind of go, okay, roughly 45 to 55 minutes after the conclusion of a game, the next game will start. And so it's really, that's the way it works, and you can't really say, okay, this game's going to start at 6:05 or 3:05. It just doesn't work that way. You'd like to, but it doesn't work that way.
1-2 to Sean Maple, fouls it away. Has there ever been a thought, Bert, to loosen up the schedule? I know that, for example, yesterday and today, first game scheduled at 8:30, second game scheduled for 11, and we have a better chance of hitting those times given the pitch clock, but nonetheless, it's still hard to get to them as this one has popped up into shallow right field. Will it be the second baseman? Yes, Ben Snap hauling it in. Quickly one away here in the fifth.
Well, the good thing is a few years ago, the move was made. The first game started at 9, so at least starting at 8:30 is a half hour earlier. It's just you're trying to squeeze in opening ceremonies, and that's why you put them 2.5 hours apart. And, the grounds crew, there's things you could do if you really had to. But I always like the way the field looks before every game. You could just say, hey, we're not going to fix the field. We're just going to do a quick rake over it. You don't need 45 minutes. The two teams don't have to take infield. If you really wanted to speed the games up that way, but you'd want another facility here, ideally, to where teams could warm up at. If you took away infield and took away some things like that, where they could just practice some grounders, things like that. So I don't know if there's a great answer to that question of how can you spread out the schedule so that times are more accurate.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense too. You want the conditions to be perfect or optimal for each of the games, and you don't want to shortchange, let's say, a team taking infielder before the game. I know you mentioned a nearby diamond, or getting the field into pristine shape. A 3-0 to Sherwood, catches the outside edge.
Yeah, because the way it works now between games, they'll do a quick rake over of the field and kind of get it ready, and then let the two teams take infield because it gets pretty beaten up, and you want to have some true looking grounders instead of some funny hops in the holes and things like that. So they quickly take care of the field, and then let both teams do infield, and then they'll do a more thorough fixing of the field and make it look pristine for the next game.
Third walk issued by Rigsby. Sherwood is aboard. And again, Charlie Muniz, the catcher for Cumberlands, a guy that you really take your chances if you're going to try to steal. Base stealers are only about 32% against him. Here's Javier Melendez, the third baseman. The 12-6 curveball outside. Rigsby now approaching 100 pitches in this game after first and second inning, really running that pitch total up.
He did finally have a 3-up, 3-down inning in the fourth after giving up runs in each of the first 3 innings.
Prior to that walk to Sherwood, he'd retired 5 in a row following the solo homer by Cornett in the third. He also retired 5 in a row after the homer by Maple in the second. And now Melendez in a 1-2 hole. Mid-American Nazarene with that 4-1 lead. 1-2 count. Is it a running situation for Sherwood? No. Right field, will it drop in along the line? Yes, but just foul. Boy, that was close.
That was close. You're talking about Rigsby on the mound. I mean, if either one of these teams, obviously today's the focus, but if either one of these teams is going to make a serious run through the losers brackets, there's going to be a lot of arms involved. And so they're going to have to go deep into their staffs and some people that maybe they weren't weren't sure they could count on, or are going to have to be counted on.
They do have Garrett DeClue, their third starter. He's made 13 starts. And again, desperate times call for desperate situations where you'd bring in a day 3 starter when you're facing elimination. Center field giving chase is St. Clair. Now the right fielder moving over to haul it in, Shavers. And there are 2 away here in the 5th.
Don't know if that was a hit and run play or if he was trying to steal there. They could have had a hit and run on. But the runner on first, Sherwood, was taking off. Realized he had to get back.
I'll bring up Noah Castillo, who is hitless in this game. In fact, both his at-bats, strikeouts, fanned in the first and fanned in the third. Good 12-6 curveball there from Rigsby. The transfer from the University of Kentucky is Rigsby. Officially known as University of the Cumberlands, located in Tennessee, in Williamsburg, Tennessee. Or excuse me, Kentucky.
Kentucky, yeah.
I got the University of Kentucky part right.
Yes, you did. Well, the problem is so many fans here in Lewiston are used to Cumberland University out of Tennessee that was annually here. So, University of the Cumberlands from Kentucky. Took them a little while to, hey, they're 2 different teams, 2 different schools, but they're used to it here because there is a Lewis and Clark in Portland. So, it's very easy to get names confused.
Castillo in a hole, 1-2, and he goes down swinging again. And 6 strikeouts now for Rigsby. So other than those home runs from the second inning on, he's pitched well. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
Yes,
Castillo
exactly.
Takes a seat, but it's still 4-1 Pioneers. Well, we talked in the open bird about how Mid-America Nazarene was pinning its hopes on staying alive in this Avista NAIA World Series on starter and ace Zach Trevino, and he's come through.
Yeah, he has. He really has. He's a 4-hitter thus far. He's got 6 strikeouts. Has only hit 1 batter, but, he's been in this. The thing that I'm most impressed with him, he's given up a lot of hits to the first batter, and he's had to pitch out of the stretch. But right now, the Cumberlands is 0 for 10 against him with runners in scoring position. So when needed, he's made the pitches that he's needed to and has gotten the outs. So that's what you want from your pitchers. If you're in trouble, get us out of the trouble.
He starts with a cleanup hitter, Max Harper, and quickly 1 away here in the 6th.
That's 6 in a row he's retired as well.
He's got 6 complete games this year. This is his 17th start. Complete games, a little bit of a lost art, so it's impressive to see someone with 6 complete games on a season, as Evan St. Clair, the center fielder, who doubled in the second and was hit by a pitch in the 4th with his 3rd at bat. Cumberland's trying to get something going here, trying to get a couple of runs. Keep this thing within shouting distance.
Well, we saw some late inning heroics in a couple of games yesterday, but you don't like to wait around too much.
Good off-speed pitch there from Trevino. How many times have we said that? Got that great sinker and then the sweeper to follow it up. It's hard even on the left-hand hitters. Little fastball moving away, just misses. Still, we talked about it in the open, but people are still just dumbfounded by the Cesar Avila meltdown, the closer for Cumberlands yesterday. And St. Clair will stay put as home plate umpire Corey Ray calls that a strike. Now the Cumberlands closer coming into the 8th with a 3-2 lead, giving up 5 runs to Westmont. The Warriors advance, and now Cumberland's in danger of going home today, 2 and out, but St. Clair is aboard here with a 1-out walk.
Yeah, and that didn't look good yesterday. I mean, that was, 3 hits and a couple walks and 5 runs off your closer, including a launched home run. And it's just didn't seem to have his stuff, and it was big disappointment.
Yeah, he hit a batter, he balked. Wild pitch. Here is Ben Snap, the second baseman, looking for his first hit of this ball game. Smoked center field, but right at Drew Woodley, and there are 2 away. If you're Mid-American Nazarene and Coach Ryan Thompson, you are loving this. Right now, Trevino, if you're wondering, Trevino with 85 pitches, with 2 out here in the 6th.
Yeah, and I know I said it earlier in the broadcast, but I just think it's big to get a win here. You went 0-2 last year. You need some, now you got back here again. You need some success here to just kind of keep that ladder moving in the right direction. You don't want to go home 0-2 again and just be happy that, you made it.
Cumberlands did not play any of the other teams here at the World Series this season. Their final ranking in the coaches' poll was 6th, and that's what they are seated here in Lewiston. Simon singled his last time up. That was on that odd play, that grounder to second, very routine to Cornett, who looked at the runner moving to second, took too much time and was unable to get Simon at first. 1-1 off-speed pitch, drops in low. Simon's on-base percentage of .505 is tops on the team. Good off-speed pitch, catches the outside edge. The count goes even at 2-2, and now Trevino with a chance to end this inning.
You talked about his repertoire. I think that's the biggest thing he's got going for him, because I think that at times they're guessing what pitch is coming, and they're guessing wrong.
Fastball fouled away. I know that our producer, Chad Simmons, I think he enjoys old school references. I'm going to go with the comparison here, the doppelganger for Josh Simon, a left-handed Carlos Baerga. Silence from Chad, so that means he is not approving of that comparison. Actually, he says he wasn't listening. I'm going to go with Carlos Baerga for a doppelganger here for Josh Simon at the plate. Chad's giving me a maybe. Cumberlands needs a hit like Baerga, and there we go. Simon into left center field. Will it get a run home? St. Clair rounding third, legging for home. He will make it easy into his second base with a stand-up double with the second run of the game. Driven in is Josh Simon.
Well, he liked your comparison. Yeah, he said, I'll show him.
Built up the confidence.
Yeah.
RBI double.
Just nice job going with the pitch down the center, and takes it to left center field.
Trying to implore his teammates, get things going here. And sometimes when you get these runners out at second, another base hit makes this a one-run ball game, and Ryan Shavers, the right fielder, will try to get it done.
Well, they need a base hit with runners in scoring position. And I'm beating a dead horse here, but they're 0 for 10 runners in scoring position. They've had their opportunities. They just can't get that key hit when needed.
Well, part of the problem, Shavers and Petrie, the 8 and 9 hitters, have both struck out twice in their 2 at-bats each.
And if you want to guess pitches, I would guess that he's going to throw that sweeping slider again.
One popped up on the infield. Will it be Trevino taking it? And the untraditional pitcher hauling in the pop-up on the infield. So despite the double, Trevino limits the damage to just 1 run. We head to the bottom of the 6th. It's now 4-2 Mid-American Nazarene.
Telling me this, I thought it was Concordia, but Concordia was the 9th seed out of California that won it. I do remember Concordia, nobody giving them much of a chance, and they just came in and scored run after run after run. They just said, we're just going to, I think they averaged over 10 runs a game, and it was just like nobody could keep up with them.
And we have a new pitcher for Cumberlands of Kentucky, Garrett DeClue, the 5'7", 175-pound junior grad student out of Littleton, Colorado. So Hunter Rigsby's day is done. Rigsby over 100 pitches through just 5 innings as Dio Cornett leads things off, the number 5 hitter for Mid-American Nazarene. Good game thus far for Dio. An RBI single in the first and a solo shot in the third.
Trying something different from, I like the change just from when you bring in your next reliever. It's coming from the left side after replacing a right-handed starter. Just give him a different look.
11-0, so obviously a spotless record. 4.28 ERA. And opponents batting just .225 against DeClue. 3-0. And Cornett going after it, even though it might have been outside. In 61 innings, DeClue has 80 strikeouts, at 1.3 Ks per inning. but he's given up a team-high 8 home runs. The 3-1. Cornette takes it. He's aboard with a leadoff walk.
Well, that tells you if you have a lot of strikeouts, as he does here, 80 in 61 innings pitched, but also leads the team in home runs allowed. That tells you he's throwing a lot of fastballs. You better catch up with it. When you do, it'll go a ways.
Also leads the team in hit by pitches with 11. His last outing came in the opening round against Columbia of Missouri. Gave up 5 earned runs over 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, and a no decision.
This is pinch hitter Bryson Hamilton up at the plate.
So Bryson Hamilton hitting for the DH in the DH position for Josh Martinez. Hamilton splitting time at catcher position with Josh Hinojos.
Martinez a strikeout victim his first 2 times up.
Hamilton, a junior from Surprise, Arizona, hitting .231. Was 0 for 1 yesterday in the ball game. Pinch hit for Hinojos and flew out. But Hamilton's double got that 9th inning rally going against LSU Shreveport, as we saw a stray ball getting away in the bullpen. That started that 9th inning rally against LSU Shreveport in the championship game of the opening round Shreveport bracket, where the 4th seeded Pioneers came back to shock the top seeded Pilots 7-6. Big swing there, missed it. And he goes down swinging. So regardless of who is batting in that 6 hole for Mid-American Nazarene, it's led to a strikeout.
Yeah, but that region or the opening against Shreveport, that was quite the 3-game series between the two of them. Nazarene won the first one, then Shreveport won the second meeting to set up that 7-6 nail biter for the championship.
And Shreveport, they were here last year, so it wasn't like they were newcomers or new to the moment. But Nazarene has just been one of those teams that rises to the occasion when the time is important. They haven't gotten it done here in Lewiston. This would be, if they hold on, their first win ever at the Avista NAI World Series. Fastball low.
Why I thought they could shake off yesterday's game and come back today, they had to do that in that opening round. Shreveport beat them 14-6 to set up the if necessary game. So Shreveport definitely had the momentum going into that final game.
Calamayo, pretty well hit left field, but it'll stay in the park as Simon hauls it in, 2 away. That was Calamayo. He's jogging back to the bench, had that game-saving catch. Even though Mid-American Nazarene scored 2 in the top of the 9th, they still needed to go out in the bottom of the 9th, and he made a game-saving catch in that championship game, so they've got him to credit as well for making it here to Lewiston. And here's Drew Woodley, who's 0 for 2, looking for his first hit. Center fielder takes first one in there for a strike.
During the opening ceremonies, they had video clips that each team sent in, and it's basically their dog pile. You know, the final out of the opening round, the dog pile. That was quite the dog pile from Mid-American Nazarene. They were celebrating that one pretty well.
Yeah, and it wasn't their first rodeo.
Yeah.
They made it here last year, but I think just being the 4 seed, very modest 34-26 record coming into the World Series. And this is a team we didn't talk about it yet, but they started the season 1-9. It was against tough competition, but either way, they had to weather that storm, played a lot better as the season progressed, obviously. Then lost 6 games almost inexplicably to end the regular season. They lost the first game of their Heart of America Conference tournament, had to win 4 straight to reach the championship game. You've got to reach the champ game to become eligible for an at-large berth. They won all 4 of those elimination games. So they're used to having their backs to the wall. And here they are in an elimination game in Lewiston, up 4-2 in the 6th. What a job Ryan Thompson has done as the head coach of Mid-American Nazarene. The 2-2 hit to right field. Shavers giving chase, and it will drop in foul ground. Thompson in his 17th season at the helm of the Pioneers. Was pitching coach at Air Force Academy for 4 years in the early 2000s. There he is. Great guy. And his former coach, by the way, at Bethel University in Indiana, an NAIA Hall of Famer, Sam Riggleman. He's here to support his understudy as Woodley flies out to end the 6th. So a good inning for DeClue in relief. And we'll head to the 7th. 4-2. It's Mid-American Nazarene.
There are 2 key moments in any college journey: when an acceptance letter arrives and the day the college education is paid off. And College Ave Student Loans is with you to help cover costs all along the way. We offer stress-free private student loans for undergrads, grad students, for parents, even loans to refinance your existing loans. Whether you're starting college, already in the workplace, or just trying to figure things out, turn to College Ave and breathe easy.
Between Mid-American Nazarene and Cumberlands, and Mid-American Nazarene looking for its first win ever here in Lewiston and really get an important outing from Zach Trevino. Has been fantastic so far.
Yeah, he has, and he's really pitched well out of the stretch. He's given up some early base runners in this ball game, but he struck out 7, and he's also right now the team is 0 for 10 against him. Cumberlands is 0 for 10 against him. With runners in scoring position. So he's really pitched well in critical situations and get him out of jams. So right now, Cumberlands has left 6 stranded in this ball game.
They'll try to get something going here in the 7th. It'll be the number 9 hitter. And we've got a pinch hitter here. It'll be Josiah Santiago hitting for Caden Petrie. Santiago, the 5'9", 165-pound freshman from Seattle.
Trying the same thing because Petrie is 0 for 2 in the ball game with a couple strikeouts. Just trying to get something different going against Trevino here.
Santiago originally enrolled at Bellevue College in Seattle and transferred to Cumberlands, Kentucky. Potentially would be a threat on base if he got on. Good speed, 8 of 9 on stolen base attempts this year.
It's always interesting how those connections are made. Seattle area or somewhere where you see a lot of these players. They got 4 or 5 players from a certain area, and it's like you later find out it's an assistant coach that spent some time somewhere or knew another assistant coach at this school, and just how those recruiting connections are made.
Unfortunately for Santiago, goes down looking. Good start here to the 7th for Trevino.
Yeah,
8 strikeouts now, Bert.
Yeah, he's in control. I just like the way he's, nothing's really facing him. He's given up a couple runs here, but just a solid outing, and exactly what they needed.
Kind of a typical outing. He's got 8 strikeouts in 7 innings as Rafi Almanzar, the shortstop, the top of the order. Try Try to get things going with 1 out here. But yeah, with those 8 strikeouts in 7 innings, kind of on pace for his normal strikeout total. He has, coming into the game, had 98 strikeouts in 102 innings, so almost right at that 1 per inning mark. A little bit ahead of that pace here with 8 and 7 innings. Grounded right side, should be easy, and it is for Castillo. Quickly 2 away here in the 7th.
Yeah, just trust your defense. You know, make the pitches and trust your defense.
.103 pitches now for Trevino, but appears to be doing very well, and always helps to get those first 2 batters in an inning. By the way, if you're wondering, Rigsby ended up throwing 122 pitches. Went 5 innings, gave up 4 hits for Cumberlands, gave up 4 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks. Good off-speed pitch there. And Trevino continues to just, man, he can throw that sweeper and also the sinker for strikes. That is tough when you've got an off-speed pitch, and that one is ripped left field, but it'll stay in the park, and it's hauled in by the center fielder Woodley. A quick inning for Trevino. 1, 2, 3. It's stretch time here at Harris Field. Mid-American Nazarene 6 outs away from its first Avista NAIA World Series. Mid-American Nazarene taking its at-bat here in the bottom of the 7th. Looking to add to that 4-2 lead as you get a good look at Garrett DeClue, the grad student, pitching for Cumberlands of Kentucky. Just 5'7", 175. Out of Littleton, Colorado. Got the Al Raboski facial hair there. Not quite as animated as Al Raboski, the mad Hungarian, but definitely a unique-looking player for Cumberlands. It'll be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters as Joshua Hinojos, the catcher, will lead things off for Mid-American Nazarene, trying to pad this 4-2 lead.
Yeah, if you're Cumberlands, you just want to keep this game tight, give your batters a chance to come through in the late innings. We've saw a couple of late inning rallies yesterday, including one that happened against Cumberlands.
Cumberlands was up 3-2 against Westmont in the bottom of the 8th, gave up 5 runs, fell 7-3. Hinojos walked in the 2nd, flew out to center field in the 4th. The 0-2, good pitch, got him. Fastball, strike 3. Second strikeout for DeClue, and that'll bring up the top of the order in Sean Maple, the left fielder.
You were talking about Rigsby, the starter, with 122 pitches. He had 39, I believe, in the first inning, almost a third of them in that first inning. when they just sat there and fouled off pitch after pitch. It wasn't like he really was struggling with his control. That's
right.
That was right on cue. He mentioned struggle as control, and you get a throw to the backstop there.
If there were ever an announcer jinx example, that was it.
That was it. Wow. That one got away just a little bit. Yeah. But, you know, he really didn't struggle with his control. It's just you give credit to the batters, and they just kept fouling off pitches and took a lot of pitches and really worked his count on him.
Well, no harm, no foul, Bert. There wasn't a runner at third, so the folks in Williamsburg, Kentucky can't get too mad at you.
Yeah, exactly.
Maple, author of a 2-run homer in the second. Junior from Adelaide, Australia.
I like Munoz. Just let the ball. He didn't even go try to go back. Just no. We want a new ball.
Yep. Just put the hand back for the umpire. Diving stop by Petrie. Great stop.
Nice.
And a great dig out at first base by Harper. So good D all around there by the Patriots.
Exactly. That was a great play at third base and great dig, especially at first by Harper, just to get that 5-3 ground out.
That's one of the top plays thus far in the World Series. We saw a great diving catch yesterday in the Westmont Cumberlands game, but this is right up there. We typically will put together a montage at the very end of our broadcast on end of the championship. Obviously, you'll want to check that out on either next Thursday or Friday, depending how the championship bracket plays out. One of the great traditions here on SWX. We had a great group of guys and gals with us again this year. The crew back in Lewiston, labor of love. We checked in at Effie's Tavern the other night for our Effie's Burger to get us going, and it's great to be back here in Lewiston. As Bryson Sherwood looks at the 1-1 in there for a strike.
You guys have your traditions. Effie's is one of them. Effie's is a place, for those that don't know, it serves a hamburger pretty close to the size of your dinner plate. And if you eat the whole thing, I don't think you probably have to eat for 2 days, and I'm not sure you can move for 2 days with that. But it was interesting because Lewiston, they're located on downtown Lewiston, and downtown area is getting dug up. The roads are getting dug up for new sewer lines and things like that. Effie's put out something that, not because their parking lot was inaccessible, they weren't doing a whole lot of business, and kind of put out on Facebook, hey, we're kind of hurting here. Next thing you know, they run out of food the next 3 or 4 days in a row because people, that's kind of the community that it is. When they find out something's wrong, they'll go support it. Who doesn't like a good Effie burger, And
wow.
I usually have to cut mine in half and keep, make it last a couple of meals because, oh boy, those things are huge.
Yeah, I made the mistake of having a full 2 years ago, and I paid a dear price. And I'll leave it at that. Base hit by Sherwood, the shortstop. Two out runner aboard here for Mid-American Nazarene. Yeah, I was pulling away from Effie's. Tried to make a U-turn on that construction late. There's another one that got away from DeClue. Tried to make a little innocent U-turn. And, boy, trying to negotiate the traffic cones and everything, it turned into a mini debacle. Thought I was going to be caught in no man's land there for an hour. But, Effie's Tavern a must if you come to Lewiston for the Avista NAIA World Series. A 2-0 fastball inside. I love when we were in there, I asked the waiter, the server, any teams come in? They said, yeah, Indiana Wesleyan was here, and then there was a team that had Fuego on their shirts. Swings through that. Any ideas who that was, Bert?
I would imagine it was Southeastern Fire.
Yep.
Yeah.
Spanish for fire, Fuego, and good to see that Coach Adrian Dinkle and the Fire got over there to Effie's.
There's a lot of teams when they come here that, I think it was kind of well known when they first started coming here to go there, and I think that kind of like, hey, if you make it to Lewiston, I think that people talk about it. Hey, you make it to Lewiston, you got to go here, kind of thing. And so I think that's one of the regular stops.
Almost a rite of passage to get over there.
Yeah.
And what's great about it is it's a real place. It is.
Oh, yeah.
They're not trying to pretend they're anything they're not.
Nope. It's you'd drive past it if you didn't know it was there. How about that? Yeah.
DeClue with a chance to get out of it. The 3-2 kind of hacked into shallow right center field. Going back to get it. Nice play by Ben Snap to retire Melendez and the Pioneers. We head to the top of the 8th. Time is running out for Cumberlands. We'll see how they do here with their 3, 4, and 5 hitters when we come back.
Shot on the bullpen. Seen some action just in case Mid-America runs into some trouble. Warming up there is Reese Helen, a right-hander junior.
From Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, one of our favorite locations. Well, we've never been there, but it's a great name.
Great name.
Well, I shouldn't speak for you, Bert. Maybe you've been to
No,
Moose
I
Jaw.
haven't been there. But a great name. I do. I agree.
And a great game by Zach Trevino thus far. 8 strikeouts as he goes to work here in the 8th inning. Not only doing well on the mound, but buying more time for the pitching staff. And the ground ball, Sherwood mishandles it, but recovers well. So many times you see if a shortstop bobbles it, there's not going to be enough time to throw out the runner. But Sherwood recovered well, and he gets an important out. The leadoff batter here, Suhel Arias, the DH, retired.
He just wants to show off all his tools. He's proved that he can go to his left, to his right. Now he wants to show off his arm, and that was a bullet to first base to get the out there.
Sherwood's uncle was a teammate and roommate, actually, of head coach Ryan Thompson. In fact, Thompson kind of considers Sherwood like having a family member, like having a nephew on the team. Sherwood's uncle, a teammate at Bethel College of Ryan Thompson in Indiana. Max Harper looking to get on track here. The cleanup hitter, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts in this ball game, and that has contributed to that low batting average with runners in scoring position for Cumberlands that Bert has been talking about. You've been harping on Harper, Bert.
I have been. Got to get those key hits when runners in scoring positions.
We're talking about a guy that was the player of the year in the Mid-South Conference.
You know, program record for RBIs in a single season with 84. You know, home runs. Just had a monster year.
Well, and at this point, just get on anyway, and he does via the walk. By my count, Bert, I think that's his. I've got him at 3 walks now. Or
3 walks.
3.
Yes, 3 walks and a hit batter is what I have.
So here's Evan St. Clair. Has a double in this game. Walked and scored in the 6th. St. Clair previously played at Division I Siena. First team all Mid-South Conference first baseman. Cumberlands just needs runners here in the the top of the 8th. Not many outs left.
See how many pitches Trevino has left in him, too.
Smoked down the right field line, and that's in there. This will go for extra bases. Digging for second is St. Clair. He's in there with a sliding double. And suddenly, trailing by 2, Cumberlands has the tying runs out at second base and third.
I guess we're going to have a visit. Yes, we are. We're going to have a visit to the mound. I thought we probably would here.
So Ryan Thompson will make the slow walk, and that usually is indicative of a move to the pen, giving a reliever a little bit more time to warm up. We talked about it yesterday, but and you see Reese Helen, the senior righty, waiting for that call, and he looks like he is going to come in. I think he's working the gate. Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
So we will take a break. We'll come back and we'll tell you more about Reese Helen. But what an outing for Zach Trevino. The starter gave the Mid-American Nazarene Pioneers exactly what they needed. We'll see if Helen can hold it.
college journey, when an acceptance letter arrives and the day the college education is paid off. And College Ave Student Loans is with you to help cover costs all along the way. We offer stress-free private student loans for undergrads, grad students, for parents, even loans to refinance your existing loans. Whether you're starting college, already in the workplace, or just trying to figure things out, turn to College Ave and breathe easy.
A degree is the most important thing you can get. You get a degree, doors open. It doesn't matter what you want in life. Getting that degree is the first step to that. There's a lot of time in a day. You can spend that time attacking your academics. If you're close, why wouldn't you finish that? Really what it comes down to is how bad do you want it? Attack the hard stuff as hard as you can with confidence. That's what the Warrior way is.
Well, what an outing for Zach Trevino, the senior righty from Santa Maria, California. He goes 7 1/3, gives up just 2 earned runs, struck out 8 on just 6 hits, and getting all kinds of high fives in the Pioneers dugout. He gives away to Reese Helen, the senior righty from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, as we mentioned. This is his 20th appearance, a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Doesn't get any better than the 5-0 record, a 3.52 ERA. Cut fastball and curveball pitcher. He was the winning pitcher against second-ranked LSU Shreveport at the championship game of that opening round bracket.
I think the other thing that stands out to me, 19 games, only 23 innings pitched, so he's only averaging a little over an inning. Sounds like he's been in situations like this, comes into key situations to get those outs. So this shouldn't be anything new to him. Runners on second and third with 1 out here in the 8th inning.
Boy, it doesn't get any more key than this. Cumberland's trailing by 2. We've got runners at second and third, can tie this thing up, perhaps with a base knock by Ben Snap, the second baseman. Snap 0 for 3 with a strikeout. First pitch off speed, drops in there. Good pitch from Snap. Not a high strikeout pitcher, but induces a lot of mishits, we're told, because of late movement on the fastball. Has not surrendered a homer this season. There's a good example right there of how that late movement creates a lot of awkward swings, and that certainly was one right there.
Yeah, late swing especially.
Previously pitched at Monterey Peninsula College. Snap, the junior from Richmond, Kentucky. Swinging, and it'll go foul down the right field line. That's a team high 4 triples this season. By the way, Sapp previously played at Eastern Illinois University. Bert, do you know who the most notable alum of Eastern Illinois is?
I do not. I take it it's
former
not
Cowboys quarterback. No,
okay.
not attend Eastern Illinois. That's right. Ground ball left side. Sherwood backhands, goes to third, and they get the runner. A run does score, but they cut down Evan St. Clair at third. And there are 2 out. It's a 1-run game with a runner at first.
Just to go and Sherwood smartly realized the runner's right in front of him.
Yeah.
Got him down. Just a base running mistake there. Usually they tell you when the ball's hit to the left side, you're on second base. You better make sure you can get there.
So here is Josh Simon, the left fielder, had an RBI double his last time up. By the way, the answer to our unsponsored trivia question.
Okay.
Eastern Illinois' most famous alumni, Tony Romo.
There you go.
Big swing, missed on that as well. Simon's had a good ball game, 2 for 3 with that RBI double last time up. The 1-1. And that got the catcher, Hinojos. So he's going to want to take some time here. Ouch. This is one where, you see the umpire going out to talk to the pitcher, and there's that simpatico relationship between catcher and umpire where if the catcher gets hurt, the umpire will maybe try to create a little bit more time. And he went out to talk to the pitcher, did the umpire, just to buy a little more time for Hinojos. And you see that also when umpires get hit, catchers will run out.
And he's slowly dusting off the plate.
Yeah.
He'll do a couple other things. He'll look around a little bit and take a little bit of a walk. He'll take his time before he puts on the mask. He understands the catcher's there in front of him and protects him. So it's a mutual relationship of, just thanking the catcher, hey, I'll give you as much time as you need, because that one hurt.
The 1-2, and Simon holds. Good off-speed pitch there. Tried to get Simon to go for it, but he held up. Started his college career at Missouri Valley College. Looking for his biggest hit of his career here at Cumberlands. Now with a 3-2 count and 2 out. Snap will be going. A key pitch in the ball game from Helland on in relief. Here's the pitch. Smoked right side, but right at Cornett, and that will be it. So a good job by Helland. Does give up that run on the fielder's choice. That'll be charged, obviously, to Trevino. So good job by Helland getting out of it. But Cumberlands does scratch out a run. They're within 1. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Still 4-3. Mid-American Nazarene.
Wells Fargo for sponsoring veterans and active military tickets. Available at the Wells Fargo Main Street branch. And the Gary Hughes Foundation for sponsorship of
We are champions of character.
Well, we've talked about the Effie burger at Effie's Tavern here in Lewiston. It's legendary. And that is not like some camera that's really close to a medium or small size burger.
No.
You can see the size of the burger compared to the hand there, one of our crew.
Plus the steak knife that's in the bun.
Yeah.
It doesn't take up a whole lot of that bun. That's a big steak knife. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's Kool-Aid in the pictures. That's certainly, our crew would never.
Yeah.
Yes, we would. We would imbibe.
Yeah. It was not game day. It's okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Noah Castillo leading things off here for Mid-American Nazarene, and he is trying to avoid the golden sombrero. 3 strikeouts in this game. Highly unusual for the first baseman. Came into the World Series hitting .357. Yeah, our lead announcer, Dennis Patchen, he got the full chili Effie burger. I don't know how he did it. He did take off the top bun, said, no, that's sacrilegious. You got to have the open presentation, see the chili. But, yeah, Dennis fought through it, and he somehow made it here yesterday to call some games.
Wow. I hats off to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that. Well, I could, but I'm not sure I could do games after I did that. Let's put it that way. I think a long nap and yeah.
It's one of two things. It's nap-inducing, or you can't sleep after you have a big old Effie burger. That was my problem. On the infield, and Castillo is retired, and he's 0 for 4. A couple members of our crew also put back a full Effie, so props. I didn't catch the names of the catch who did it, but yeah, one of the guys like, nope, just got to fight through it, sweat it out.
And then you sleep on your back because, like you said, you're miserable if you sleep in any other position, I think. And oh boy, yeah.
Dio Cornett, the second baseman, who has not been retired in this game. Single and an RBI in the first, solo homer in the third, and walked in the sixth.
Couple RBI to go with it. He's got 2 of the 4 with Maple with the other 2.
Good curveball backdoor by DeClue in there for a strike. Again, coming up next, another elimination game between Bellevue of Nebraska and Indiana Wesleyan, the first-timers. 1-1 fastball catches the outside edge in there, and it's 1-2. If you're Mid-American Nazarene, having been 0 for 3 in games here in Lewiston the last 2 years, you want to add more runs. Line drive, soft line drive, right at the third baseman, Caden Petrie, 2 away.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd like to get an insurance run or two just to give you a little breathing room and move on. And if you're just the opposite, Cumberlands, keep this a 1-run game and get up for your final 3 outs.
Big swing there from Bryson Hamilton, and it's hauled in. So 3 up, 3 down. Good inning for DeClue, but it all comes down to Cumberland's ability to scratch out a run or more here in the top of the 9th. It's 4-3 Mid-American Nazarene. We'll see how it transpires next.
Have a little birthday message for you from someone too.
I heard you really love basketball. You're a good shooter and a good dribbler. Happy birthday.
All right, last chance for the Cumberlands Patriots of Kentucky. Down 1 run here in the top of the 9th. Got the 8, 9, and 1 hitters, starting with Ryan Shavers, the right fielder. He's 0 for 3 in this game, so a good time to bust out of that and get things going for the Patriots here. Get some runners aboard as Reese Helen, the stopper, at least in this game, for Mid-American Nazarene. He's got 3 saves on the season, trying to make it 4. retired both of the batters that he faced when he came in the 8th in relief of Zach Trevino, who was excellent as the starter for the Pioneers in this ball game. Stands to be the winner if Helen can hold on here. The 0-1, and quickly in an 0-2 hole. By the way, a quick shout out. Last night, Trevin Hope of Lewis Clark State actually took a no-hitter into the 5th. And we talked about Charlie Updegrade with his 10th homer in 16 games, but Hope was the star early in the game. That was some drama there to see if he could keep that no-hitter going. That one gets away from Helen, 1-2. In the end, Hope gave up a couple hits and earned runs, struck out 11 to get the W as Lewis Clark State, the host team, defeated Indiana Wesleyan. They will take on #1 Southeastern tonight. The 1-2 ripped left field, but right at the left fielder Maple, one away. Shavers hit it hard, what he wanted, but it was right at Maple.
Yeah, exactly. Hit it hard. I'm not taking credit for breaking up Hope's no-hitter last night, but
you mentioned it to somebody?
Yeah, no. What happened is I'm in the press box for the late game, and the person that running the scoreboard doing balls and strikes and also putting the names up needed a bathroom break, so I subbed for him. The first hitter that I subbed for him for, base hit. So I jinxed it somehow, but you know.
You've got a couple groups mad at you.
Yes,
you
the
Lewis Clark State Warrior crowd, and then the Cumberlands crowd for that seemingly harmless pitch that got away from Rigsby earlier today. So Caden Petrie, the third baseman, struck out in his 2 at-bats. And that one falls in there as well. Helen, the good-looking reliever here, trying to close this thing out for Mid-American Nazarene's first win in history at the Vista NAIA World Series.
He's doing his job, just throwing strikes. I mean, he's hitting the plate.
Got him in a 1-2 hole. The pitch. Trying to get him to chase one up and in. Count goes even at 2-2. Now the senior righty from Moose Jaw deals. Got him swinging. First strikeout issued by Helen, and that's a big one, as now Cumberland's down to its final out. And Petrie, unfortunately, 3 strikeouts. They do go back to the top of the order, but it's getting late.
Well,
very late.
Yeah, it is. Almanzar 1 for 3. He's walked and scored a run as well, but he's got to get the rally going and get on so the hitters behind him can bring him in.
Only 1 home run this year by Almanzar. He's quickly in an 0-1 hole. Helen tried to get him to go after that, nothing doing. Helen has not surrendered a home run, so that combination of Almanzar with only 1 home run this year and Helen not having given up a home run, a bad combination for Cumberlands. Little bit up and away, and it's 2-1. Almanzar does have that hit that Bert mentioned, that it was a double in the first. Helen just kind of working outside, trying to get Almanzar to go after it. In so doing, he's run the count to 3-1.
Yeah, last thing you want to do is put the tying run on base. Put yourself in the position.
The 3-1 just missed. What plate discipline by Almanzar, and he's aboard with a walk. Easily could have been rung up for the final out of the game. Turns out he's on first base. Cumberland's still alive here. So a good hitter to have up. Charlie Munoz, the catcher. Mr. Everything. Came into the game hitting .425. He came into the World Series with third most doubles in the nation with 25. A double would tie the game. Most likely. Here we go with a 1-0. Ripped into left center field, and it's down. So now things are getting a little bit nervy for Mid-American Nazarene. Base knock for Munoz. 2 men aboard, 2 out here in the ninth.
Going down swinging. I like it. Put a little pressure on, and we got a great finish here going on. It's been a great ball game, really. Very tight ball game, but well played, well pitched, especially, I think.
Sitting on a little bit less than a 2.5-hour ball game here in the ninth as Helland trying to record this final out and the first win for Mid-America Nazarene in the Avista NAI World Series. And it'll be up to Suhel Arias, the DH. First pitch, curveball, just a little bit low.
He drove in the team's first run of the game in the third just on a ground out.
A senior who previously played at Miami-Dade College. Upstairs, 2-0. And any reliever will tell you, regardless of the level, regardless of the talent, getting that final out, it's like a golfer trying to finish off a golf tournament with a 2-stroke lead. The 2-0 in there for a strike.
Yeah, keep it in the fairway, keep it in the strike zone.
Arias has had some big hits. He went 4 for 6 in the opening round against in the opening round, and that one is fouled right side, out of play. In that second game against Columbia of Missouri, 4 for 6, 2 homers and 6 RBIs. He has some pop, obviously, as the number 3 hitter. He's down to his final strike here. 2-2, deuce is wild, 2 men on, 2 out. To number 2, the pitch, grounded to short, right at Sherwood. He'll have to go to first, and does, and that's it. The very first win in school history for Mid-America Nazarene. A good ball game as they hold off Cumberlands of Kentucky. The final score, 4-3. So nice job by Reese Helland to come in and finish this one off. He gets the save, his 4th of the year. Zach Trevino, what a job he did on the mound as the starter. Goes to 10-2, 10th win on the season. And Hunter Rigsby, who actually green.
Yeah, good win, tough loss. If you're Cumberland, you're going to go back and look on this. Runners in scoring position. You had a rough time. At one time, you were 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position, so you had some opportunities. Unfortunately, you just couldn't capitalize on those. But you played well. You had a well-pitched ball game. Trevino just made the pitches when he needed to, and really that was the difference in the ball game. He got him out of a number of jams. And then Maple and Cornett drove in your 2 runs apiece. So just a well-played game. I thought it was well played. No errors. That's a rarity. That's really a rarity, and we saw some good defensive plays.
Yeah, exact time of the game, 2.5 hours, 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Mid-American Nazarene, 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Cumberlands, and we'll set the table for you coming up in about 45, 50 minutes or so. It'll be the Bellevue Bruins taking on World Series first-timers Indiana Wesleyan. It'll be Austin Getz along the way. Bert will stay put for that one. Bert doing double duty. Thank you, Bert. And then after that, it'll be Taylor Trojans against the number 2 seeded Georgia Gwinnett Grizzlies. And then this evening, what a nightcap we will have. It'll be the host Lewis Clark State Warriors, in a rare 9 seed this year. But they're playing well of late against the number 1 Southeastern Fire. Getting word now, we're going to have about an hour and 10-minute wait until the next game. So going around.
Actually, 1:10. I'm sorry.
The game time is 1:10.
Yes.
All right. So that's Pacific time for those of you watching on the NAI network. So hope you've enjoyed this game. A terrific ball game to get us going on Day 2 of the Avista NAIA World Series. Unfortunately, Cumberlands headed home, and Mid-American Nazarenes staying alive here in Lewiston. For our entire crew, including our great producer, Chad Simmons. Great job, guys. Bert, appreciate it. Great time.
Always have fun with you.
Dave Cotton saying so long for now from Lewiston.